Are we actually recording? Okay, this is...
I'm sure.
For everybody. Remember, Jesse, we have a test every time. So, this is the test. Everybody speak.
Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2.
The next episode.
And this is why I have him here to
MerlinCast.
Fuck up the MerlinCast. Alright, hello everybody. Another interesting podcast. Decided to... Alright, interesting story.
Is much fuller than usually.
Kind of randomly. It just kind of coincided. We decided to watch what is said by some to be the worst film of 2017, Bright, starring Will Smith, Joel Edgerton, and Noomi Rapace. How do you say it? Rapace of various films. And then we're going to talk about some of our most anticipated movies for next year, if we have any. But first, let's talk about...
You literally look like a beard.
Yes.
People are saying this is the worst movie of 2017.
As a matter of fact, they are.
Didn't the Emoji Movie come out?
Yes, it did. And people are still saying that Bright is actually worse.
Well, anyway, before we get started, I did have, obviously it's me and Tiefling here, but Gimli's back there in the dark. In the dark.
He is here, guys.
He's here. Justin's here.
Hello, everybody.
We got Bass Xevrix back here. But anyway, we just saw this on Netflix, and I will say we've all had some form of alcohol or something to inebriate our judgment a little.
Some.
Just more that's actually...
Those gummy worms were delicious.
Gummy worms saturated in Fireball. Excellent. If you haven't done it, of course.
Only drink if you're of legal age.
Only drink if you're of legal age. Be responsible, etc. Come on, come on, God. Why is this like? I will have
cover our bases.
Look,
drinking is bad. Wait until you're 21.
Something like 70% of my subscribers are 25 or up. Okay, and they're fine. They're fine. Anyways,
make sure your parents are okay with you drinking alcohol.
That 5%.
That 5% that's below 18. Don't want to get sued. Drink responsibly. Anyway, or don't drink if you're below. Anyway,
back to Bright.
Anyway, back to Bright. Who wants to talk about it first? I think Justin's ready. Justin, you're guest tonight.
Am I though?
Okay, well, this guy recommended it. Okay, he's like...
Recommended is a very strong word.
Or do we just want to go straight into...
Alright, you know what? Help me.
Do we want to do this like a regular movie review or more of like our opinions on it?
Well, alright.
Probably a little bit of both.
Bright...
I got some opinions on Bright.
Okay, well, hold on.
I'm sure you do.
Help me out, guys, if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Bright is an urban fantasy film in which there are elves, orcs, and humans primarily. Will Smith is and we'll get to that.
One dragon for one scene.
One dragon.
It has nothing to do with anything. It's in the background.
Okay, basically,
establishing shot.
It's a buddy cop movie where Will Smith is a human cop. He's got Joel Edgerton as his orc cop, and he's racist, but he doesn't want to be racist. There's racism everywhere against orcs. Apparently, there is some sort of prophecy about a Dark Lord coming back that might be involved with the orcs. Everybody blames them, and they find this girl who might have a magic wand, and it kind of loses me from there because it's kind of all glazes over, but they have to save the world.
Agent 47's in the movie.
Agent 47 from Hitman franchise was in the movie. And I don't even know. I feel like this movie was a mess.
Watch? That is probably the best.
We're gonna keep this easy. We're gonna keep it easy. I need time to process this, but we're gonna go this way. I'm gonna start with my co-host Tiefling. How did you feel about this movie, man?
Take it away.
This movie was an interesting mess.
Okay, I like it.
I enjoyed Joel Edgerton's performance a lot.
Definitely.
And Will Smith was definitely trying. More than he has for a lot of...
He usually does. Like, even if the movie's bad, he usually is trying.
Yeah, well, by the end of the movie, his character actually felt more like a Will Smith kind of character than a weird, racist blob.
Yeah.
Which is him for, like, the first...
two-thirds. Like, hour and a half long movie.
He's only really, not racist after his partner tells him that he let another orc go instead of finding that it was the
partial spoiler, but yes.
Basically,
spoilers.
It's like
spoilers.
He did the right thing instead of let it. He thinks he's let a criminal go, but instead it turns out that he actually did the same kind of thing that he would do.
Yeah,
which paid off actually. Yes. Eventually, that was good. Yeah. We liked that.
No, it didn't pay off because he still shot him.
Well, but then it pulls the train.
More spoilers. Then another plot point. He gets brought back to life, which brings us to another point. Where continue. Just continue.
Yeah, in Orkland, but
Jesus in Orkland.
Yeah.
Jesus. Well, Sorry,
He turns into Orc
he's
Jesus.
Orc Jesus, but Orc Jesus is Satan. So
So let that sink in, viewers.
But
Let that sink in.
the elves want to bring back evil Orc Jesus.
only some elves.
Only evil elves, not the elves they think are the bad guys, because that's a fake out. The FBI elves are
No, the
actually.
FBI elf, because that was an elf and a human. When
Yes.
was that guy a dwarf?
No, he was an elf.
Oh yeah, that
He was definitely an elf.
The
that were-
redheaded dude was an
Yeah,
elf.
there was an elf.
No,
9
dwarves
races.
are in Florida.
The redheaded dude? Was the redheaded dude an elf?
He was an elf.
When? Where?
I don't know about that.
No,
I think
no.
he-
I mean, he was in cahoots with them.
He
so
didn't have it. He
He
didn't
was
have
either an
the
elf
eyes.
or he was a human.
All right,
He was definitely not a.
He had a great beard. I'm gonna call him a tall dwarf.
As close as we got. Continue. Continue.
yes. As you
Continue
were.
with your
As
thoughts.
you were.
Basically, there's an elf tag along that was completely and utterly pointless. A lot of the scenes go nowhere, and they travel from place to place for there to be action
Aimlessly.
scenes at that place,
Very
rather
much
than
so.
for them to have needed to go there.
That scene in the club stands out the most.
There
I
was
think.
Why'd they go there?
extremely.
There was no
They
reason
went
for it.
there so they could have tits in a shootout.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, pretty much like okay. We want to turn this into a
Gangsters
more
need to
consistent
break
action movie,
glass.
so here we
They went to a
go.
place that had glass for gangsters to shoot.
Yes.
And not people.
Because every 2000s action movie has to have gone to the John Woo School of Action Movies.
I guess so.
But
Well, when they stopped doing generic shooty shoot and started throwing out the magic and the actual martial arts, and the action was good.
The scene you liked with the gas station getting screwed up with
The
the
gas
car?
station getting that was hyped up for me originally, and it was
By who? By what?
the internet. It was like, oh man,
the interwebs.
Yeah, like, they did like an interview with the woman. What was her name?
Oh, Numi Rapace?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And then she was like hyping up how she needed to do that entire action scene in fucking stilettos and a skin tight suit.
Oh, that's what excited me.
Oh no,
okay.
she was having a fucking terrible time.
I'll bet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was like, oh, well, we have a fucking clip from it, and I was like, I'll probably watch this for the podcast later, so I'm gonna turn that off. It's like,
Yeah.
no, fucking shot in the gas station, whatever. It didn't matter.
Some things are
Not
shot.
especially.
It didn't matter. Like 90% of this movie didn't matter. Like there are 5 scenes that I can think of off the top of my head that mattered and like advanced the plot, and everything else was just kind of the cops then go here to hide the wand. The cops then go, and then like at the end of the movie, what I thought was going to happen, because I've been calling the movie up until that point, was that they were going to join the FBI, but they didn't. They just got medals,
Yep.
and everyone went home happy, which kind of felt anticlimactic to me.
A little bit.
All in all, this was a fun movie to watch. I would never watch it by myself. I would never just kind of
Oh, man, no.
let's watch Bright. But like
Let's watch
in the
Bright.
situation that we had it in, where we were just getting kind of drunk, just watching a
bad movie.
movie.
Kind of rough movie.
It was actually enjoyable. And, like the action scenes were really good.
Most of them.
Agent 47 showed up out of nowhere and murdered like
All right,
90
all right.
dudes,
Agent
okay?
47 was good.
And then there was some random anime chick like jumped out from the ceiling and stabbed everybody.
All right, I'm calling it my favorite scene right now. Just jumping ahead is the wire scene in the gas station. The twirling.
Just for the most nightmarish wire through imaginable.
That was
Like, she
great.
flipped like 90 times
In
after
one
she got
second.
thrown.
For like no reason.
Yeah,
It was
oh
great.
My God. Then like their magic was just really bad. It was like
Vaguely defined.
Yes, very.
Like, they needed words to use magic. They needed wands to use magic, but only some people can touch wands, or else they'll explode. And obviously, Will Smith gets to touch a wand because
Spoilers!
fucking Will Smith.
Will
Yes.
Smith's a bright.
But like, the movie wouldn't be called Bright if he wasn't the main character.
True.
Like Brights would have been a background thing if Will Smith wasn't a Bright.
Yeah,
But
you're right.
it's
Yeah.
just so
It's
wasted potential, really.
yeah.
This movie sounded like Shadowrun, and what it turned out to be was just some shitty campaign.
All right. Well, that's a good way to end.
I definitely. Are we doing letter grades at this point?
Yeah, fine. Give me your letter grade.
I definitely give this a C+.
C plus.
Okay.
Because of the environment which we viewed it was a good time.
Okay.
Enough to give it the plus. Because, like, the action was competent for the most part.
The truck was good.
The effects were actually very, very nice. All of the makeup in this movie was pretty flawless. I didn't see any mistakes in it with any characters.
Make it was
Times, yeah.
Like having the actors needing to emote through what is basically
prosthetic.
like, probably an inch-thick latex mask and a weird underbite.
That is tough to do. That's true.
And still giving the best performance in the entire movie.
Joel Edgerton, yeah.
That definitely bumps it up from being
Jacoby.
like a DC movie. It's definitely almost a B for me.
Wow, you really enjoyed it.
I had
You enjoyed it more than me. But
it was stupid, dumb fun. It's like this is a completely different scale. It wasn't a good movie.
I guess you could see it that way.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, Gimli.
Yes.
I know you. You know, you were in pain over there, but you were making some interesting observations, particularly the dragon, which I almost missed.
Yeah. It's a very blink and you'll miss it scene.
With that and the centaur.
The centaur.
Okay, no, never mind. Okay.
Sorry, Gimli.
Never
Sorry.
fucking mind. C minus. Why the fuck did they just murder fairies? Why the fuck did they just fucking kill that guy? They probably have their own society and shit. Like, they fucking murdered that guy.
Okay.
Go
going
on.
into mine.
Okay, go ahead.
They said that there were 9 races.
Correct.
Okay, human,
Yep.
orc,
Yep.
elf, I guess centaur.
Because they were there. Centaur.
They existed. Yes.
Fairy,
Yeah.
Dwarves were mentioned.
dwarves. Well, there's a... Did I already say centaur?
Yes. Okay, so we're missing 3. Dragon.
Yeah, there were dragons.
Okay, so 7.
The counter race.
No, because I feel like there's so few of them.
Is dragon
We don't
sentient?
know. They only show up in one
Is
scene.
dragon sentient, though?
We don't.
A dragon's sentient, but a dragon's only a human when it wants to.
There is a dragon in literally a second scene in the background.
So is the centaur.
I know.
But technically,
But the centaur...
They're mentioning 9 races, so you have to figure.
Yeah, the centaur was a cop.
Yeah, I was gonna say the centaur was literally a blockade cop.
But they didn't make a big deal about it.
We were just standing there.
So-
Sorry, Gimli, go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so
I
they
assume
made a
there
big
has to be
deal-
halflings if there's dwarves.
Okay, so they made a big deal about the orc being on the cop.
Yes.
But the centaur was just
But
there.
the centaur, they gave no shit about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say they had no chill about the
Is it-
centaur.
No, because they can look at
hold
his
on.
face.
Wait,
Hold on.
yes.
It's all because they can look
Does
at his
that mean
face.
the centaur's just a mountie? Is a centaur just a mountie?
Oh, that's messed up.
That's fucked up.
He's a horse? That's messed up,
Hey,
dude.
Centaur is basically Canada.
Hey, I don't know.
Well, we know that the dwarves are in fucking Florida
Yeah.
for some reason.
Florida.
Yes. Bright 2, guys. Bright 2.
So I guess dwarves are just retirees
Okay.
with a lot of money.
No, that dude on the FBI was
Florida.
totally a tall dwarf. Look at his fluffy face.
I'm calling human.
He was too tall to be a dwarf, dude.
Yeah.
Did I not call him a tall dwarf?
There
Too
was
human
no
to be
drunken
one.
brawls with them. So.
No?
True. Because all drunks are dwarves are
Yes.
drunks, which is the very logic of this movie. It's not the right message.
Hey,
No.
It's-
But then again, the right message of
movies.
Bright is not the right message, so
I don't
mean,
know what the message is, but
It
Exactly.
existed. That was the fucking message.
So, give any more thoughts about the film that you
I'm
enjoy?
still confused on whether Will Smith is the stepdad or not.
His family doesn't matter.
They really
They are literally a bookend to the movie.
They really
Yeah.
were.
I'm still confused on that though.
Okay.
She existed for him to be racist against a fairy and murder the shit out of him.
For no reason. Never comes
He
back.
wanted some seeds. And Will Smith murdered him with a broom.
Honestly, I'm surprised he didn't have one of those like bug zappers.
Yeah.
Wait, so maybe this poor fairy was starving and was trying to get seeds for his family because he can't get a job in this society. And Will Smith just fucking breaks it, and he's the hero of the
Far deeper political subtext.
Oh my
He
god.
fucking murdered that fairy.
Oh
and
my-
fairies totally counted as one of the 9 races.
Yes.
So they're at least
Do
the
they?
fairies-
We never hear them listed as one of them. Well,
No, because the elves were like, and the fairies and the.
I guess.
They were
Yeah.
listed
Oh, yeah.
in the list.
Yeah, elves are basically just Jews.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not being. That's not
I'm
even
not
just
being,
being
like-
anti-Semitic. It's just like the
Yeah.
elves are portrayed as rich, and controlling the world, which some people believe
is the
Jewish people. It's not me being anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
This is what
that's what the movie
is.
But that's the thing that confuses me, guys. Is the movie is trying to, like, at least in that first half, report these anti-racist messages and anti-stereotyping messages, but it's
selling it. Regular human racism and racial, like, literal "you're an orc, so I hate you" racism exist at the same time. So the humans didn't band together at all. They're still just regular humans, and also there are weird people now. And by weird people, I mean what seem to be really, really tattooed guys and hipsters.
So, anyways, letter grade for me, solid C.
Why solid C? This is higher than I'm expecting from you people. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm still slightly intoxicated. So,
we had fun with the movie.
Oh yeah, we did.
It's a good movie to poke fun at.
We did.
The ability to have fun with the movie should be considered.
All right, fine.
Only two things that bring it up is the centaur.
And
the dragon.
30-second scene.
The centaur, the dragon, and Agent 47.
And that's pretty much it. So,
his biggest attraction is Will Smith racism.
If I didn't see any of that, it'd be a D+.
Okay.
You don't take points away for Will Smith racism.
That would have been the C-.
Yeah, fucking C-. I'm never going to be able to get with the
D+.
They zoomed in on his corpse.
D+ or solid C.
Okay, so
it depends on whether or not you cut out the centaur.
All right. Well,
okay,
Justin, I know you're ready. What do you think about it?
So let's start small with this. All right, so Joe is not wrong in terms of I said, hey, let's review this for kicks and giggles. I'm sorry, gentlemen, but let me justify my reasons. So
go ahead.
About a week ago, the reviews for this were coming out, and the elevator pitch for this movie I was on board with. David Ayer made Fury. For anyone who doesn't remember, it was the World War II tank movie. Thought it was awesome.
Good movie.
And to watch, I think it's one of the most pleasant surprises in the 2010s. So, I mean, I was curious. Why not try and branch out and do urban fantasy, which I think is kind of a genre that has a lot of potential, but nobody really taps into.
That's true.
So fantasy enough.
No, they didn't.
We'll get to that. Bear with me here. So, the reviews come out. They are excruciatingly negative. I highly recommend the IndieWire review, which even David Ayer said, and I quote, "This is going on the refrigerator. This is amazing. I will read anything you string together."
Wow. Well, I'll link it in the description.
Yes, definitely read it. It is quite possibly the single greatest review roasting of all time.
Okay, but he liked it, so that's good at least.
It is amazing. But how is the movie? Well,
I wonder.
For me personally, I feel like I need to explore this in two spheres. The first is obviously the generic buddy cop genre, and second being the urban fantasy.
Okay.
So let's start with the far worse genre, which is the buddy cop genre.
You don't like buddy cop genres, Justin?
It's not just that. It's not just that.
This wasn't a good buddy cop.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It really wasn't of either, but let me continue.
Okay.
So the start of this movie is excruciating.
Pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
I was trying to watch this ahead of time just because after hearing all the reviews and just knowing who David Ayer was, Suicide Squad be damned.
Oh.
I was just thinking like this. I can't believe this is that bad. It's got Will Smith, who I think is for the most part a pretty good actor. It's got Joel Edgerton, who I think is incredibly underrated.
A little bit.
And Amir Abbas. So I'm like, okay, you've got this amount of star power. This can't be that bad. Mm-hmm. And I turned it on, and I am turning it on and off all over the course of about 20 minutes.
It's hard to get through it.
It's an incredible slog.
Definitely.
And it's partially because the opening sequence is basically one gigantic, heavy-handed metaphor for the broken America, civil rights, la-di-da.
I want to ask you,
yes.
You're absolutely right, but that was one of my big issues with the movie, is that first slog of the first couple minutes over the credits is so painfully forced and over the top.
Very.
But then they drop it halfway through the movie. The whole movie.
They do.
The whole thing.
Yes, they absolutely do.
The movie gets
and that's
I know. Yeah, that's what it gets better. Yeah.
Which brings me to my next point, which is Will Smith kind of a miscast, wherein we're trying to get this idea. Probably should be Denzel. Let's be realistic. It's Netflix. Denzel's better than this. But
I hope so.
I would certainly hope so.
Will Smith is technically better than this movie.
I want to agree, but Collateral Beauty happened. So
Actually, I changed my casting. I'm choosing Wesley Snipes.
no. Well, actually, I'm okay with Wesley Snipes, even though I don't think he is.
I'm casting Idris Elba. He would have saved the shit out of this movie.
I would say above this, but also The Beast of No Nation, which was also Netflix, and substantially better than this movie.
It's still okay.
It's still going.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still going. We're just not scared.
All right,
Keep going.
We've got Will Smith, who is, by most accounts, pretty likable.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Taking a couple weird projects recently, but for the most part, I think most people do like him. And we have him playing easily the most obnoxious, unfunny, unlikable, horrible human being in probably the entirety of 2017 film characters, and I say that having endured the entirety of the Emoji Movie.
Oh,
which is no easy feat. I want you all to keep in mind, and I am
good luck.
By no means a T.J. Miller fan.
Hits up.
So it's
T.J. Miller?
I really don't.
Yeah, he's not a fan,
I really
man.
don't. I don't get the fascination.
I don't care.
Yeah.
One
way or the other.
He wants there to be a fidget spinner movie.
Why?
Did T.J. Miller say that, or did the executives say
All
that?
of them.
All of them said it.
Yeah.
Well, it'll probably happen.
I wouldn't rule it out after the Emoji Movie. I'd say all shots illegal.
Yeah.
But
after Battleship, I said all shots were legal.
yeah, that also was not good.
But Angry Birds the movie.
I kind of like.
We need
that
not speak its name.
I kind of like that.
Look, the beginning part of Angry Birds the movie, where it was just one guy trying to live his life and hated everybody, was very relatable.
He was an angry bird.
He was a fucking angry
He
bird.
was in fact an angry bird.
He was trying to live
vehemently off
his
topic.
goddamn life, and everyone fucked with it.
He's got to finish his review. Let him
Okay,
go.
so
You mean we can't just talk about the Angry Birds movie?
no, we got some other time, and quite possibly the most wasted use of Sean Penn.
Just instead of the rest of this review.
Things you can do instead of watching Bright.
Actually, I honestly would recommend it. Seriously, I preferred it over Bright. I'm sorry.
That wouldn't take much.
I'm sorry.
That really wouldn't take much.
Go ahead.
Okay, so back to my whole deal. So we've got Will Smith. We've got this incredibly heavy-handed metaphor they beat to death over the course of about 30 minutes. We've got all these ideas that are pretty much negated by the end of about Act 1, and then we get a couple kind of moments where it doesn't seem as bad. We get some actual interesting beats. Sort of the grittiness actually pays off in a couple moments.
Couple scenes,
particularly because Joel Edgerton actually commits to his character and
wholeheartedly.
And yeah, I mean, the best scenes in this movie are when it's just strictly focused on him. It makes me almost wonder if we actually needed the Will Smith character, because his arc kind of really doesn't matter outside of one plot point near the very, very
well,
end.
they could have just given that plot point to
exactly, which
would have forced their tag along to not have been more of a tag along.
You know what's sad is
on that same note, let's talk about the second part of this movie, which is obviously the urban fantasy aspect, which is
weak.
It's very scattershot.
It's weak.
But there are little pieces in there that are really, really engaging. Some of the mythology is actually really complicated and vast, but you also keep wondering, would we have preferred a prequel to this story that takes place 2,000 years before? There's a lot more going on, probably a lot more likable characters.
That's what we were saying.
Rather than this
they keep on
painfully
bringing up and mentioning when Orc united the 9 races and killed the Dark Lord or whatever.
Yeah, all these things that I'm okay with the need to know basis, but I feel like when the need to know basis is far more interesting than the actual storyline, you got problems.
Yeah.
And
once again, if this isn't the most interesting part in our characters' lives, why are we seeing it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You got to make this stuff matter, and the problem is a lot of this stuff is interesting, but it really doesn't tie into the core part of the story.
The most interesting scenes were the exposition dumps.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
Say maybe like a couple stray Jacoby scenes that sort of give us more idea of
Who he is
who he is as an orc, who he is as a cop.
Character stuff for him.
Yeah, the defining moments, sort of what sort of turns the tide with their dynamic, which doesn't entirely pay off, is incredibly inconsistent over the course of the 2-hour slog, but there's a couple charming moments in there.
No, his scenes were very good for the most part. You're right. The character stuff with Tim and Smith was pretty decent.
Like the first big gunfight between them, I think, is when was like the first indicator of like this isn't an entirely awful movie.
Not entirely.
There's actual potential here, and I can see sort of Ayer's isms coming in there, like the grittiness, not the POV, which I think would have actually benefited it, but
POV would have been interesting, actually.
yeah, I mean, I know found footage is a dying genre, and I don't necessarily think it should come back, but
There was at least one scene in here that could have used the POV.
yeah, like even at one point we were saying, like, while we were watching it, like, okay, if this is supposed to be a present day alternate universe 2016 2017,
Where are their body cams?
why do they not have body cams? If we're beating the social commentary so heavily,
Except for
why,
those
why don't we
scenes we-
explore that issue?
Yeah.
And they don't, and there's all sorts of other things that sort of come into play with the urban fantasy aspect that they also don't really circle back to either. But the action set pieces, some are good, some are not. It's very stop and start once they get into the, like, okay, we have a budget on this.
There's a lot of
I feel
fast
like they
editing.
set up the world and what they needed to happen before they actually got a budget.
Yeah, there's a really big sense of here's what we want to do. We're not entirely sure how we want to do it. And like I said, I'm sorry, as you were.
They added the side characters, the FBI agents, and they keep on cutting back to them like they're going to do something or matter in the movie.
But they don't
And they
And they
really
effectively do nothing.
Yeah.
They're just looking
Like,
for the bad guy.
We've got two, for the kind of sort of defined characters. I'd say Jacoby's probably the most defined.
We only learned
Will Smith's character kind of is
Within, like,
at one point.
Daryl?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Daryl, which
Daryl.
they don't really say consistently until the very, very end of the movie.
Wow, I thought he was Nick this whole time.
No. Nick Jacoby.
Nick Jacoby. That's
Oh,
Jacoby.
Nick and
Yeah.
Jacoby were two different people?
Yes.
Nick and Jacoby.
Yes.
His name was Nick Jacoby.
Yes. Daryl Ward, Nick Jacoby.
Daryl Ward and Nick Jacoby.
Daryl Ward.
I'll let that sink in, viewers.
Oh,
But
Ward.
as a whole,
Like Jacoby kept on saying Daryl. I'm like, who the fuck is Daryl?
yes.
And then like every time they called him Jacoby, I'm like, but like the little girl calls him Nick and Jacoby calls him Nick. I'm like, I get why I didn't know who Daryl was. Jacoby is a suitable first name for an African American.
Oh.
So it's just like, okay, his name's Jacoby.
Oh, no. Alright. Continue,
Like,
Justin.
who the fuck is Daryl?
That's a good...
So yeah, it's very stop and start. Not all of it works. Some of it does. I won't say the gas station scene because that seemed like overkill. We
thought
get it. Elves.
that was awesome.
By virtue of
Justin,
action cliches,
Justin,
no parkour.
The string scene. The strings.
It's excruciating.
It's great.
It's excruciating.
Agent
The main villain is in a struggle over a gun with their tag along. What was her name? Like Tiki? Or
Tika.
Tika.
Wand girl.
Yes.
And then, so the main villain shoves her backwards, and Tika does 10 or 11 flips over a shelf.
Yeah, that's an important detail to note. Apparently, all elves are like parkour masters, even when they're not supposed to be.
That's right.
You don't know anything about Tika's training?
We don't know.
That's another part of the mythology that they don't really explore.
We don't know much
It's-
about her until like the end of the movie anyway.
Yeah. A lot of this feels like set up to a much better movie, and
What were the API characters' names?
I couldn't tell you if I tried.
Angry elf guy and tall dwarf guy.
Ginger elf and
They said them at one point. I don't
Look,
remember.
the elf dude really gave me some Akihiko vibes, alright?
there are no words right now.
He's got the punch gloves.
Oh,
Don't
man.
worry.
The fact that you just compared Bright to Persona 3 hurts my soul.
I did, though.
No.
No. You heard it here, folks.
He did.
Another thing you could do that's far better than watching Bright, play Persona 3.
There's so many things
Persona 3.
listed.
Yes.
So long.
Actually, no, Persona 3 FES, but anyways, way off topic. It's
All right.
That's just where my brain's at right now.
Guys,
I don't want to think about the movie.
we're about a half an hour in. We'll wrap it up and we'll get to our list, Justin.
I'm sorry for eating up your time.
It's okay, it's fine.
But yeah, this
I'm
is.
interrupting you. I'm sorry.
You're good. I like the banter, I really do. But
It's good stuff. It's the best stuff.
It is. But this is like a first draft script that's filmed, and nobody had the audacity to tell anyone involved, guys, this isn't working. This is basically deleted scenes on film.
No, you're right. It did seem like kind of a very rough first draft that just got pushed through.
Yeah, like, okay, we've got a budget, we've got Will Smith, we've got Joel Edgerton, who's not nearly as popular, but
We've got ideas.
yeah, and we've got ideas, and we've got some guy who knows how to direct an action scene, so clearly we can do something with this. We're just not sure what, and that's really what this feels like. We have something, but we don't know what we have.
But Justin.
What is the grade? D.
Oh. That's more like it, though. That's more like it. That's just the shit. Oh, just twist the knife. Well, why D?
Because, like I said, for all these scenes that come into play, there are a couple bits that are actually really interesting, and they really make you wonder if they had just taken a little more time. This could have actually been something. This could have actually been worth the amount of money they invested in this.
It could have been worth
There's a
it.
really good idea here, but they don't know how to get that idea out. They don't know how to execute that idea. They just have a lot of talent, but don't know where to direct that talent, and it suffers crucially for that.
I agree. All right. Bass, thank you for waiting patiently.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Sorry about that, pal.
Can you add anything that we haven't covered already?
I have a lot of questions for this movie.
Oh, please elaborate.
What are some questions?
Okay, so one of my big questions has to do with the human-on-human racism and the human-on-orc racism.
And the human on elf racism.
And the human-on-elf racism.
And the elf on orc racism.
And the human on fairy racism.
And the humans are the only ones with the problem with the fairies, too.
Yes.
So Daryl Ward, as his name is.
Yes, Daryl
He
Ward.
lives in the hood.
Yes, he does.
Dead grass, old buckets everywhere. Just
Gangsters
gangsters next door as he murders a fairy.
Yes.
Well, he live in the hood.
And then
hood.
Yes.
and then
They go into hoodception.
and then you go to
There are layers of hoods.
you go
Yes.
to Nick Jacoby's home, and it's like, okay, it's the hood, but you put sand on the ground. Where did this come from?
No, you put sand in more graffiti.
Yeah.
Sand, more graffiti.
Somehow it's worse than the actual.
So you have your city, all right, and then you have the hood in the city, and then you go to the back alley of the hood, where everyone's all crusty, and
that's orc hood.
the children shake each other, and we expand that into a full-on part of the hood.
Oh, man.
When the children gotta shank each other for drug money.
Who thought this was a good idea?
It is a great question.
Oh, man.
And it's like, there were some really good action scenes in this, like the fucking car chase.
It's good.
Yeah, the original car chase.
Yeah.
First
And
one,
I liked it.
Bulletproof.
And like,
It's bulletproof.
everyone who has like any connection to the wand, who makes these outlandish fucking decisions, like there's a gang that comes after them after the police shootout. And it's like, there's police shooting other police officers. There must be a wand here. This thing that hasn't been seen in like 2,000 years.
A long ass
Quite
time.
possibly the biggest logic leap in the entirety of this movie, but
I need you to make a wish so that I can poop again.
He just.
by the way, this is an actual piece of dialogue from Bright.
The leader of this gang is in a wheelchair, and he plays this character so fantastically. He just wants to walk again, make love to his old lady,
Yeah, that goes
and be able to
good.
shit on his own.
And then they kill it. They just kill
the
it.
shit out of
Oh
him.
my god.
Oh, man.
I don't understand where a lot of the decisions
The heroes didn't kill him. Agent 47 in the lead
Yes,
and
True,
killed him.
that's true.
Agent
Yeah.
47 got his head blown off by a fucking combat shotgun.
I mean, like, that's the only way you can go out.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's
Pretty
true.
much.
He was kicking everyone's ass. They made him too powerful.
He bounced off the
They
wall
just gun mocking
For
him.
no reason.
Yeah.
I enjoyed I enjoyed the second half of this movie more than I did the first half.
The second half of this movie kind of felt like a movie.
Yeah.
And the first half just kind of felt like an awkward documentary about orcs, but orcs
aren't... like Poor Man's District 9.
Yeah.
As soon as Will Smith doesn't give in to peer pressure about being racist towards his partner...
Oh my god. But it's like, be racist with us or die. He's
okay, then
I'm just as racist as you. It doesn't sound like you're racist. Why aren't you trying to kill him?
Yes.
Are you actively trying to kill him? What? Are you not as racist as us? I guess not. I'm not actively going out and trying to think.
Fine,
orcs.
we're just going to kill you guys. Okay, I'm going to turn around and shoot all 4 of you. What's up?
And this is character development in Bright, but...
Man, I guess I'm not the best racist guy that I know. Time to stop being racist.
But, I enjoyed that. This will be, something I watch with people, never alone. It's a kind of a guilty pleasure, I guess. Not like American Ultra. American Ultra I can watch all
night. You guys let that movie go.
No, it needs a sequel.
God.
It really does.
It needs a sequel.
But I'd have to give this movie a D+.
D+. Alright, well, I see Gimli falling asleep over there, and I'm tired too. So we'll wrap it up here pretty quick. But my thoughts on the movie, I pretty much agree with everything you guys said. This movie was messy. I will admit, I feel like it was just kind of a jumble of different scenes that kept on going. The whole racism thing at the beginning was painful. The whole message was just so poorly implemented and heavy-handed.
Very much so.
And it just kind of really takes you out of the movie immediately. And then, Will Smith's character being unlikable and then randomly changing his character with that one reveal was rough. But you're right. I think Joel Edgerton did a good job. The orc scenes were good. The backstory of this world seems interesting. I want to know more. I thought some of the action scenes were good. Agent 47 kicked ass. But there are a lot of unanswered questions. I kind of feel like this movie could have been done better. And I feel like if it was going to take itself seriously, it has to give us a little bit more of both the grittiness of the urban and also more fantasy. I think it didn't go full force with either of those things. It didn't fully commit. But it's rough. I would not have enjoyed it as much as I thought you guys, but
I think they might have spent most of their budget on
Will Smith, probably.
I was going to say probably Will Smith and effects, but
Will Smith and effects.
People should be drinking potions and shit. Magic's banned, but that's still medical.
I was going to say,
potion magic's illegal. You got to go to a regular human hospital and die of dysentery.
Yep.
Like as I said, a lot of questions.
Very many.
Or I could just take this Cure Light Wounds and just save.
What's a Cure Light Wounds? That's illegal, son. You deal in drugs.
And I just feel like if they're gonna do a really authentic D&D type movie, just make it more fantasy would have been more appropriate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm giving it a D+. I think this movie was rough. But it did have some fun elements to it, for sure. That did save it. Mostly Agent 47, though.
Yes.
All right. Well, after going through that 37-minute review of Bright, which probably never needs to happen again.
No.
We'll just run through our list real quick. Justin, I think you have one prepared.
I do.
All right. Well, just keep it brief if you could, man. I see people fall asleep.
Yeah. Actually, let's do everything. Okay,
Sorry,
so what are we thinking? 5?
Yeah, just give them run through real quick. Talk briefly about them.
Okay, so 2018 coming closely up on us. So
very soon.
Here's a couple of movies I'm particularly looking forward to.
Okay.
So one is a movie that cast-wise I'm not overly on board with, but conception-wise I think is hilarious if it's in the right hands, and that is the Happy Time Murders.
Okay.
For anyone who doesn't know, it's supposedly going to be this R-rated puppet noir.
Puppet noir?
Yes.
All right.
We live in this alternate universe where humans and Muppet kind of characters are.
It's a Muppet noir.
Yes, LA Confidential with Muppets, and they're like, this is going to be this super serious R-rated.
Wait, so it's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but Muppets.
Yes. 7 with puppets. I'm like, all right.
That's cool.
I've never seen anything like this. I'm on deck. Let's do this.
That's different.
Yeah, I don't know if this will come out this year, just because this has been. People have said this project is going to happen. People have said this project is dead. People have come on, stepped off, and anywhere in between. They're saying 2018. I'm staying cautiously optimistic. Another one that I'm definitely on board with is Ralph Breaks the Internet, aka Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Oh.
It has been a long time coming. I was hoping they would go with their original idea, which was exploring console gaming, because there's so many jokes to go there, but
definitely.
I can only imagine the reason we didn't go that route this time was dare I say, copyright issues.
Probably.
But I think there's a lot of material to mine from this.
Wreck-It Ralph 2, definitely.
I think it's going to be awesome. One that I'm kind of on the fence about, but I think has a lot of potential, is the New Mutants. I think X-Men needs a new direction.
X-Men horror movie?
I feel like they're ending it with the New Mutant and Dark Phoenix, and then just handing everything over to Disney because the sale went through.
There's nothing they can do, but I'd rather them try to do something kind of different before it goes completely out of their hands.
New Mutants did look interesting, actually.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic.
All right.
Kind of in the same gate as Ready Player One, which is Steven Spielberg's entry.
That's the one I'm looking forward to.
I want to say I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also afraid it's going to be so nostalgia-driven that it sort of loses sight of itself.
Here we go.
Jesse is looking at Maze Runner 3, which I can say I'm
seeing that right for the challenge. Maze Runner 3.
For a sec, I didn't even know what it was, but it's called The Death Cure. But I'm like, is that called Maze Runner, The Death Cult?
That would explain some things.
If only.
I'll finish up Justin.
Yeah. Obviously, we've got Avengers Infinity War, which... I gotta be honest with you folks, I have not been crazy about Phase 3. I think it's gone really downhill after Phase 1. But I'm really hoping that they actually stop getting Disney-fied. There actually are stakes this time, and we actually start seeing people die. I'm sorry. You cannot do Civil War with a body count of 2. This is not okay.
Well,
I mean, they do the original Civil War with a body count of 0. So.
The comics.
Mr. Fantastic, among several others. There was a legitimate...
because they stayed dead so long.
They at least stayed dead for a while, though, Joe.
Oh, man, like 3 months.
3 months is better than not at all. So, I mean, I would take that.
Pretty good, I guess.
Hey, man.
Civil War descended into civil bromance, and one character who should not be dead,
so hard.
Not at all.
who survived, should absolutely be dead. And I'm sorry. I will...
Who?
Rhodey. Dude hit the ground going 100 miles an hour. He should be dead.
He should have been dead.
Yeah. And, of course, I can't forget
he's a Skrull.
Guys, I can't forget the big one on this list that almost phased me. Incredibles 2. The hour has arrived. It is upon us. I mean, I'm sorry. It is a crying shame that we had to get 2 unbelievably mediocre Cars sequels before we could get Incredibles 2. But it's here. It is here. The same people are on deck. Brad Bird is on deck. He promised us he would not do it unless the sequel was good. I'm hoping he lives up to the hype.
Oh, man. No, I agree with you. Incredibles 2 is up there for me. Ready Player One, possibly. I know what Gimli is not.
No?
Jurassic World, The Fallen Kingdom.
Finally extinct.
Did you originally like the original Jurassic Parks and then hate this one, or did you not like Jurassic Park?
He's just not into Jurassic Park at all.
That's really, I'm on board there.
What? You don't care about Jurassic Park?
Not even like a little bit. I mean, Chris Pratt's cool.
Wow.
Dude.
Actually, I'll be honest. I thought the comeback was cool, but I think it was too soon for another one, personally.
I thought Jurassic World worked for what it was.
Yeah, but exactly.
The solo movie Jurassic Park was good, but everything after that's just been kind of
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 3 was bad, but...
Solo movie? Han Solo movie, anybody?
I'm afraid...
I mean, when they first announced it, I was like, okay, let's get a Han Solo origin story. I like the idea of the Star Wars anthology, but I feel like the more that comes out about this movie, people walking off, more reshoots, new director... I just have no stock in it, and to be honest with you, I don't care.
What could they do?
It's a prequel movie.
What could they legitimately do to make people care about Han Solo more?
Oh, I was just gonna say you could do views on War.
That's not canon anymore.
It's not, but you could do it and make it canon.
What could they do in a Han Solo prequel that would make you care about Han Solo more than everybody that fucking loves Han Solo?
I don't know. Not have him die in Episode 7.
He's dead. Everyone's moved
What's done is done, dude.
You're the only one that's mad.
All right, Black Panther. I'm sure we're all excited for.
I know exactly what movie I'm excited for. Super Mario Brothers 2.
What? Oh wait, that's right.
Mario again.
2.
Mortal.
Deadpool 2 before Disney.
Ant-Man and the Wasp get a movie?
Pass.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
that's right.
Pacific Rim gets a sequel.
Yeah, it does. And
Oh God, the Venom movie and Predator.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, the Predator, which I can't imagine anyone here is going to be overly excited about because Iron Man 3 director, but
Well,
Iron Man 3 is the worst Marvel movie. Fight me.
you don't actually think that.
I think that.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to wrap it up because we're tired.
Yeah.
But
Can we agree best movie of 2017 is Knack 2?
what?
It's a video game, first of all.
Best movie of 2017.
Knack 2?
Knack 2 introduces Ice Knack, 2-player co-op. Best movie.
My favorite knack was Stone.
I have no shame in saying I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sam.
It's a masterpiece.
I think you're being facetious.
Everybody
right now.
has to go out and buy Knack 2 so we can guarantee Knack 3.
No?
I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway,
Absolute masterpiece.
everybody say goodbye.
Bye,
Till the next
guys.
time.
Thanks everybody for coming and enduring this terrible movie. Please,
through it.
please don't watch Bright, and let us know your anticipated movies of next year. And I'm sure Tiefling's going to give the middle finger as I sign off right now.